So then you move to Khan Yunis. What's that migration sort of like? And how long are you in Khan Yunis and how much longer until you get to Rafah? And then when it comes to the ceasefire, did you leave Gaza before the ceasefire was in place or during the ceasefire or just, I mean, just speak to that as well.
So after we spent 3 days in Sabra, the people that were with us, they decided that they're not going to evacuate yet. They're not ready for that. I called Wael Dahdouh,
Yes.
and he was still at the bureau. And I told him, Wael, this is going to get really bad. And he's like, I know. The tanks are like at the beginning, like the bureau was at the end of the street. He told me the tanks are at the beginning of our street.
And by
And
now, while a lot of his family had already been killed, right? By
yes,
this point, yes.
yes, that happened like after his family was targeted. And I told him that, okay, so well, this means that you need to move out now. Let's go to the south together. And he was like, are you ready to go? I told him, yes, I'm ready to go. If you will go now, I will go out with you. He's like, okay, we have like 30 minutes and we leave. We hang up, and in 30 minutes, Ishfa, I had like some uh, backpacks for my kids. And now all I'm thinking about is they're going to walk in the sun for 7 kilometers at least. What can they carry? And like my children are not like, they're not like big old boys, right? They're just like, my eldest is 12, the boy Muhammad is 11, and then I have Serene who's 8, and I have Juri, the Juju, the tiny one, 5 years old. So, and what am I going to be able to carry? What are they going to be able to carry? What's their dad going to be able to carry? We left everything, Ishfaq. All I got with me in those backpacks where I filled bottles of water like these. I filled 2 bottles like of these water, and I put 2 bottles in my bag and in their father's bag, and then I put one for each child in their bag, and I put one summer pajama in their bags for each one of them, like very light clothes, like whatever I could put in that. I carried the bag. I was like, is it heavy? I don't want it to be heavy. I don't want them to feel tired, because what happens then? They're just going to drop it, right? So I could carry whatever as light as I could. And I was just concerned about water because they needed to drink water. So we went out. We got to we got a car to take us to uh, um, Duwar al-Kuwait, or the roundabout of Kuwait, okay, where a lot of massacres were happened like the past weeks. And from there, we walked. We started walking from there. Started walking all the way, all the way. Of course, we met Wael there.
Yes.
I met Wael and the other team, like the other team, Hamdan, it was Mahir, it was Muhammad. They were the team with Wael, and we walked together. Honestly, like finding Wael and walking with him was like it calmed me more, right? I felt a little bit of calm. My kids were terrified. They were like, what if they identify you and they detain you? What if they take you? What if they shoot you? Right? And I was like, no, because I'm walking next to Wael, and then I'm sure nothing is gonna happen. Like we're gonna be together. And um, we walked, Ishfaq. We walked for a very long time. It was very tiring. It was a very exhausting journey. And the fact that there was an area that we had to cross, and that area was the area where those civilians were killed. Those civilians who were killed, Ishfaq, they were on a donkey cart. They were on a donkey cart, and they were shelled by a tank shell. So there in that area, the only thing the Israeli army removed from that street where they were killed is the dead donkey, while the civilians were left on the ground. I was looking and I told my kids, just look straight. No matter what happens, just look straight. It was a very dehumanizing moment, having to walk with your ID in one hand and raising your other hand, or holding a white flag in the other hand, and just walking like that. Extremely dehumanizing and humiliating. And the fact that you actually have to walk like that while other bodies of other human beings are around you, and the smell of the bodies, Ishfa, while all the troops are meters away, okay, deployed behind there is a fence that they made, okay, and they are all deployed behind it and behind their tanks right there, and directing their guns on you as civilians. And then they would speak to you in the mic, and they would say if they want to get someone to come out. I saw they called a couple of civilians from those who were walking, come. They would let them completely undress, okay, to their underwears, and they would, in front of everyone, they would call him, and they are meters away from them, and they are deployed behind that fence they created, and the sand beams they created, and their guns and everything. And they would start telling him, do this and do that. Take off your clothes. What's your name? Show us your ID. It's so humiliating. You can hear the worst stories, dehumanizing stories, just from that corridor. While you cross the corridor.
And how long did it take you to arrive in Khan Yunis? And where did you go? Did you go back to your mother-in-law's apartment, or did you go somewhere else?
No, it took us we got there to the south of Wadi Gaza. That's the beginning of the central part. That's when Al Jazeera crew came to pick us up